Hey everyone, and welcome to episode number 3 of the Documented podcast. Before we get into it, I have some plugs and shilling, I suppose, if you want to call it that. First off, very special news, guys. Documented is now available on iTunes. So, if you are not already, go subscribe to the Documented podcast on iTunes. Leave a 5-star review. Share with your friends. Share with your family. Tell your grandma about it. Your grandma has nothing to do in the old folks' home. Give her an idiot talking about documentaries to listen to. She'll love it. Trust me, she will. Just head on over to the podcast app on iPhone and search Documented with RocketGruntJosh. Hopefully you're already listening to this on the podcast app. If not, well then you will soon, because you're listening to what I'm telling you to do. To go subscribe on iTunes, the podcast app on iPhone. I guess that's what you call it. I'm an Android guy, so I have to use third-party apps to listen to my podcasts. Also, I want to give a shout-out to my very good friend Jared, aka GrizzJuice. He is a variety streamer on Twitch. Guys, Jared is bar none one of the funniest human beings I have ever met in my entire life. Go check him out on Twitch, GrizzJuice on Twitch. I believe he's still streaming Jurassic World. I'm not 100% sure. Jared, correct me on that if I'm wrong. But like I said, he's a variety streamer, and if you want to check out some Dead by Daylight, guess what? He streams that also. Go check him out. Tell him RocketGruntJosh sent you. And remind him that I have a Japanese copy of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time in box. I'm sure he'll really appreciate it. Now, speaking of friends, I have a guest this week. I mentioned it 2 weeks ago. My good friend Ethan. He did the art for GrizzJuice, for RocketGruntJosh, for Documented. He's done all of my artwork. He's on this week's episode. We will get to his plugs at the end of the episode where you can check him out. But, guys, let's get into it. Episode number 3, the Documented podcast. Let's go. All right, everyone, let's get started here. As I said at the top of the episode number 3 of the Documented podcast, we are going to be taking a look at a documentary called Extraordinary, the Stan Romanek Story. Now, if you noticed, I said we, because I have a very special guest here with me. The first guest in the short history of Documented. Ladies and gentlemen, Ethan Holbert, my artist. Ethan, thank you for joining me.
You're very welcome. I'm glad to be here, because really this is just the first step in me usurping you of like everything that you do. Is really the plan. Like, I'm not here to be your co-host or your guest. I'm here to replace you.
You would probably do a better job. So basically,
I know I would. But
Ethan has been with me through every project that I've ever done, whether it be on camera, on audio, behind the scenes, doing some editing for me, doing some artwork for me. But you're just an overall artist, I guess.
Overall, like, creative boy. I do pretty much everything. I mostly do like illustrations and whatnot, and graphic design and whatnot. But yeah, back when we were doing Joybot, I edited videos and
yeah.
Then I was also on that, but I was like such a fucking mess on all of that.
Ethan is you're an introvert in a way of where,
oh my god, yeah.
But it's a weird kind of an introvert where you're not scared to be around people, but you're scared to put yourself out there in mediums such as this. Like if this was just a conversation like us telling our friends about this doc, you would be fine.
Like talking to friends and people and stuff, I usually don't have a problem with. But yeah, like being things that are like recorded are very hard for me, because like I can, like, obviously that's like a record of it, and like everybody can go back and they can like hear that, and they can hear me all say all the stupid shit I say and like all the flub ups I make and shit. So it drives my anxiety through the roof. Like I'm very uncomfortable right now. I don't know if you could.
So naturally, I asked you to be.
Yeah, naturally, you asked me to do this
on my podcast. So
boy, am I glad that you did though.
Yeah. So the reason that I had Ethan on here is because, so I probably could have had a good discussion with you about best worst movie. Could have had a good discussion with you about Finders Keepers, the last two, because they're both pretty ridiculous stories for different reasons than why this documentary is ridiculous. And
this one's bananas, dude.
It is. And me saying that it's ridiculous kind of blows the spot a little bit. But when it comes to so this is an alien documentary about a man that gets abducted, whatever.
Yeah.
So. And that's just spark notes of it. I'm not getting in too depth right now, but the idea of just aliens in general is crazy. Whereas, 2 weeks ago, it was about people fighting over custody of an amputated leg. It was about, and then the first episode, it was about this man who is obsessed with the fact that he was in this shitty movie and he's letting fame get to his head. This one is different in the sense of, it's crazy because it's about aliens. And
well, it's funny because it's one that just takes a totally different turn. It's like, depending on how your perspective and your personal feelings on this sort of thing, it's like a totally different story depending on it. Because I went into it just wanting to watch it as kind of like a UFO thing, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm down for this. But then like some facts start showing up and some things start happening. I'm like, whoa,
and then the evidence and stuff shows up.
Yeah.
So let's just go ahead and dive right into it. As I said, the name of the documentary, it is on Netflix. I believe it's a Netflix original. I'm not 100% sure on that.
I believe so.
I think so that might be the only place to watch it.
I think they have like the distribution rights for it.
They do. It is called Extraordinary: The Stan Romanek Story.
Romanek? Is that how you say it? I kept saying Romanek.
Romanek. Tomato, am I right? So, I did that to be awkward. So, basically, let me tell you a little bit about Stan here before we dive into what the documentary is about exactly. So, he's like a figurehead of the UFO community and the alien community because of these different interactions that he's had.
Yeah, he seems to be kind of like he paints himself as sort of like a very what is it? He gets like a lot of traffic for
yes.
Like he seems to be get a lot of like visitors and stuff like that. He sees a lot of UFOs. And
he's like a beacon for it.
Yeah.
And so basically over 13 years he has had over almost 200 documented events. It's, over 195 events that have happened to this man over the course of 13 years. And the way...
That's something you just say. This documentary also came out in 2013.
Yes.
So this is all based off the information from then. So yeah, like his first recorded one was like in 2000.
It was in December of 2000.
It was
December 27th. I have it written down here in my notes.
So pretty much 12 years as of the documentary, but
yes.
But he's allegedly had more since.
And we mention that this documentary takes place in 2013 because
there's some facts about this guy.
There's some stuff that comes out.
This guy's had some shit going on in recent years.
Yes.
That's not good.
I know that with Best Worst Movie and with Finders Keepers, I avoided doing a postscript about like where everyone's at.
Yeah.
I cannot avoid it with this one because
we'll get to that.
We will get to it. We will get to it. I'm just wetting the chops, Ethan.
Because once you know about this stuff, it changes the context of everything.
Yes,
especially a lot of the stuff.
We're having the side salad right now. We're about to get into the meat and potatoes of it, and then
that's dessert.
The dessert is what ended up happening to this guy.
Yeah. That's a really fucked up way of looking at it. Yeah, but we'll go with it.
So, man, knowing what I know. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so weird. So, basically, the way that this film is laid out, I really want to get your opinion on this because, we're both kind of filmy types, artistic types. I like the way this film is laid out because the way they do it is on screen. They show, typed out, really small print, every experience that he has had.
Yeah.
Over the 13 years.
It's like almost like diary entries of like just the various encounters and
exactly.
stuff.
And they break them down and they color code them and they show you out of this many, here's how many is that. And then they go through and talk about, so like, for example,
well, they break it up because they have it in the sense that like the first ones they show are like all of the UFO.
I was just getting ready to get into that. Yeah.
He has like orbs that show up.
Yeah.
And
so they break it down into like, so the first one that they talk about is sightings, which is him seeing UFOs and seeing lights in the sky and taking pictures of orbs in the sky. And that's important to bring up because that's the first experience that he has back in 2000, is that he lives in Nebraska, Colorado, trading back and forth.
Yeah, that was the thing. He was like traveling back and forth because his first encounter with the UFO is when he was going to meet his then it was like his girlfriend.
I don't think they had been married yet.
I think her name was Lisa.
Her name is Lisa, yeah.
He's going to see Lisa, who was his girlfriend at the time. And,
yeah.
And he happened to go through like the hills or something.
Yeah.
And he saw, he describes it very weirdly because he's like, there was like 20 or 30 cars off the side of the road and all these people just looking just straight up.
Exactly.
Straight up. And there was just this thing. And like, he shows a lot of it. And like, it's fairly convincing. Like I'll admit, like I'm not like a huge UFOologist and stuff. But
I'm getting ready to segue into that because, as I said, this is Stan's first experience with UFOs. Never experienced one. He wasn't a believer until he saw this. Now, I believe in some form of life out there. Is it little gray men that run around? Is it people that or beings that fly around in UFOs? I don't know. So did you go into this not being a big believer in UFOs, or do you believe in life in that way?
The thing is, I'm a skeptic of everything. I don't think paranormal shit's real. I don't think supernatural thing is real. I don't. Aliens, I'm a skeptic, but I believe in them in the sense that, you know, it's like our universe is like so big and so infinite that like statistically, they're I feel like statistically there has to be something to assume that like we're the only things in this universe is like such it's such a like a hubris moment for us as a species. And it's like 100%. It's also a very like romantic notion too, that's like, oh, we're special and you know this universe was made for us and stuff and we're all alone and all that shit. And like that's just kind of how it is with like everything. I feel is that it's all been very like very romanticized and stuff, you know, and ghosts and aliens and shit like that. So it's just, it all just feels like fiction to me is the thing.
Okay.
So I'm a skeptic in that sense that like, I just, if it smells like bullshit and it looks like bullshit, it's probably just bullshit.
Well, I've never had an alien UFO experience at all in my life, but I've had paranormal stuff happen to me. Mm-hmm. So I'm a big believer. Which this is a great time to bring this up. Ethan and I have a 10-year bet going on right now. Do you remember the bet?
Oh, the Bigfoot one?
Yeah, me and Ethan have a 10-year Bigfoot bet.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting. I don't remember what my reward is, but I'm really.
So basically, we're 2 years into this, I think. Or no, we're about a year and a half, 2 years into
it. Almost 2 years.
So I'm a big believer in Bigfoot. This is a little tangent, but I just gotta throw this out there because we've never publicly talked about this.
No, never.
Basically, I'm a believer in Bigfoot. Ethan isn't. So, if there is definitive proof of Bigfoot in the next 10 years. Ethan has to eat a "Make America Great Again" hat.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That was the bet. I have to eat one of those hats. But
and if there's no evidence, I have to fully renounce any belief in Bigfoot.
Now, I feel like my side of the bet's a little worse than yours, but
you made the bet.
I did make the bet because I am just so 100% confident that it's not real because I think you're full of shit and there's never been a single bit of evidence that Bigfoot's real.
But if you also know anything about me, it's a pretty monumental thing for me to just come out and say, no, there is no Bigfoot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to
aliens.
Yeah, back to aliens. So like I said, it breaks down to these different experiences. In different categories, and the first one being sightings, which is him seeing UFOs flying. The next one that they break it down into is equations.
Oh, right. He
Yes.
has like the relativity equations and shit like that he just like he knows all of a sudden.
Yeah, he starts seeing these equations in his head, and through regressive therapy, rather, he's able to remember these equations, and write them down.
They're like the equations. I think it's like Michio Kaku or someone did it. It's like the idea of like multiverses and stuff like that. It's like
that's
like
one of them. A lot of them deal with like multiverse, space travel, moving faster than the speed of light, and the probability of figuring out how much life is in the Milky Way.
That's what it is. It's like the probability that there is an equally intelligent life out there.
Yeah.
Or sentient beings or something like that.
Exactly. That's one of the equations. And they get more into the equations later. They don't really touch on them a lot.
Yeah, they kind of glaze over it. Like they bring it up a little bit, but then there's like the one doctor. They keep intercutting like interviews with like I'm going to say air quotes specialists and stuff. Talking about it, and like there's really only like one guy who brings up the like equations,
exactly,
and he's a fucking lawyer too, which I don't understand. Which just that to me was the first clue that was just like they just got any asshole with a suit and would pay them like $100.
That was the first clue. That's like towards the end of the documentary.
Well, not the first clue, but that was definitely just like okay.
Right, so the next category that they factor in is abductions. Him getting abducted. And basically after this first sighting that he has in December of 2000, he basically has a video camera around him at all times.
Like any quality crazy person.
Absolutely.
He has a shitty VHS video camera around him at all times.
And he's got security cameras around his house.
Also of shitty quality.
So, but what's really weird about it is these abductions, they're talking about what he experiences with these abductions, and he'll wake up the next morning and he'll have markings on him. Yeah. Really weird markings.
Like very like symmetrical linear, and like patterns and stuff.
Symmetrical, like just, and then they'll put a black light over it and you can see the streak inside his arm. Now at this point, I'm still kind of believing him, because it's like, maybe the aliens are just experimenting on him. Like, I don't know.
I was gonna say the thing that was so frustrating about this is that he almost had me. He was so
We'll get to the. You're getting a little bit ahead of yourself.
I am getting a little bit ahead of myself, but God, he was so fucking close. He was so close.
The thing with the abductions is that he They talk about it a little bit, where he had, I don't remember exactly what it was, but he had some kind of leg problem.
Yeah, like he had like knee issues.
He had to walk with a brace, and he had to walk with a cane.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
Well, after one of these abductions, his leg is fine. He's not walking with a limp. He's not walking with his cane.
And he's got like he has like
he has markings,
like 5 dots.
Yeah,
like
5 dots,
4 or 5 dots, like on the back of his leg that are like in a straight line.
And they go to a doctor, and the wife because the wife supports him.
Yeah,
throughout this whole thing.
We'll get to her.
She believes him. So they go into this doctor's office, and she's got a tape recorder going, and they're recording the conversation they're playing in this documentary, and the doctor is at a loss. He's like, I don't know, dude. He's like, your leg is fine. He doesn't say dude, but it's essentially just like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, dude. Your leg is fine now. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So, then also in the abductions, we mentioned that he's got these security cameras around his house. The flash of light that leaves the marking on his siding.
Yeah.
That's a little weird.
It like perfectly like cleans the side paneling of his house, and like it leaves like a mark in the grass and stuff, which is like a common thing that happens. It's like this
the UFO crop circle,
shitty circle, crop circle in his yard.
Exactly.
That, like, he claims they all look the same, but they just look like grass to me. Like,
so,
there's definitely a circle.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It's definitely not, like, I don't know. I don't see any discernible pattern from it.
This is where it gets weird, because he's a renter. He's not a homeowner. He's a renter, and he gets pictures of the sighting on his house, and he's about to go out and take a sample of it, but he notices that you're making a face right now because you are just about to unload. I can tell.
I'm about to get frustrated.
This is where the tinfoil hat in me came out.
Yeah.
Because these people show up and they're reciting his house. And they say to him, look, I know you didn't ask us to come here, but your landlord did. And it's going to be hard to get a hold of your landlord because he's on vacation. So just trust us when we tell you. The landlord asked us to come here.
God, this is where it gets so fun. Because all of this shit is so easy to fake. He is like so convinced that this is like a government conspiracy because he calls the landlord. The landlord's like, no, I didn't have anyone come in. Okay, first of all, he just says that the landlord says this. He's like, I didn't have anyone come out inside your house and stuff. And then he like researched what some generic ass like Bob's sighting.
It was called Bob's sighting.
Bob's sighting, and like apparently they didn't exist or something. And I'm like, that is so easy to fake. He's just saying because we just have to take his word for it. He's just like, I didn't say that. And then like no one thought to go talk to the fucking landlord and shit. And it's just like Bob's Roofing. We can drive down the street right now and probably see 3 Bob's Roofing or Bob's whatever I fucking blue man ever do everything. I just lost my mind there trying to say that sentence.
This is not going to be the only time I feel
God
like.
damn it.
Because we're starting to get into the good shit.
I was so frustrated watching this because he also has that bit where he's talking about his speakers that are making like
I was going to get there.
Buzzing
yeah.
sound. And he's like, well, the stereo's off. That's not supposed to happen. First of all, he's so nonchalant about it too. Like he's just so like okay with like his speakers making these noises. He's like, oh, the stereo's off, so speakers aren't supposed to make noise. You can't hook speakers up to something else to make noise and give them feedback.
But Ethan, is it crazy to possibly take into consideration here that the government was trying to cover up a UFO encounter?
Yes, 100%. Absolutely 100%.
I don't know.
Absolutely 100%.
The Kecksburg Bell. Or no, it wasn't Kecksburg. The Nazi Bell.
Oh my God.
You know about the...
I think I've heard about it.
You know about the Nazi Bell, right?
Maybe.
It was where Hitler was obsessed with the occult, basically.
Yeah,
and he wanted to make a time machine. And this is God's honest truth. Hitler was obsessed with the occult and he wanted to make a time machine. But once the Allied forces beat the Nazis, they never found the bell, but they found these plans for it. Mm-hmm. Well, 20 years later in Pennsylvania, there's a UFO sighting that is almost identical to what these plans for the Nazi bell looks like.
So we think Hitler's floating around in a bell right now.
Well, not Hitler, but like
Nazis,
high-ranking Nazis.
Nazis are floating around in the bells and stuff.
Listen, okay, guys, you need to learn one thing about me. I dip my toe into the waters of conspiracy theories, but I got to a certain age. I'm 27 years old. I said, listen, I'm almost 30. Do I really want to try to fight the fact that Sandy Hook was fake? Do I really want to fight the idea that 9/11 was fake?
You're like, yeah, I'm almost 30 years old and I need to make the crucial decision if I want to be like a completely insane son of a bitch.
I just tweeted it out a couple days ago. It's like, could you imagine how tiring it has to be a conspiracy theorist?
Well, it's the easiest thing in the world.
To just argue everything? It's
the easiest thing in the world. It's like being like me, being a skeptic, but being on the opposite side of the spectrum. It's just like, whatever. It's just like, it's all a conspiracy. Everything in your life is controlled and shit like that.
All comes back into Stan Romanek because what he's doing has to be so tiring.
He's committed.
He's
very
committed. He's committed to the bit.
He's committed so hard. He's convinced the people around him. It's like he has, in order to make the lie work, he has to live the lie. And
absolutely.
He believes it himself almost is what I'm getting out of it.
So that's the abductions. Yeah. Basically. Now we get into the second category, which, by the way, there were, I believe, like 8 different categories that they lined the encounters and stuff into. I'm going to skip over a couple of them. Because
a lot of them are inconsequential. They're just
so
dumb bullshit.
High strangeness is what they call one of them. Mm-hmm. And that's where you mentioned the speakers.
Yeah.
Is his speakers making the feedback noise. Now, the one that stuck out to me during high strangeness, the computer. Do you remember this?
I had to pause because I laughed so hard because so what was it that it said? It was
he starts to get, like, he's getting these weird feelings. Like, he actually has paranormal investigators come to his house and investigate, and he's getting, like, he feels like he's getting, like, psyops all around him. He's getting spied on and stuff. So
right, the paranoia is fully setting in at this point.
Yeah, paranoia is setting in, which we'll go into that here in just a second when I talk about this computer. So on his computer, which he was running, like, Windows XP.
It's like Windows XP.
Windows XP.
It's like a shitty Gecko computer or something.
Exactly. So his screensaver was the scrolling marquee. No, it wasn't scrolling marquee. It was
like the 3D,
like the 3D text that
like
moves
floating
around the screen. It said, "You can't hide." He turns off the screensaver. His background is a satellite image of his house with the text, "You can't hide." He opens up the start menu. His username on the computer is "You Can't Hide," and his user icon is a picture of the satellite, a satellite image of his house.
It's just like, it's so easy to fake that. He's just like,
I'm starting to, at this point, I'm starting to lose faith in this guy.
So I started laughing really hard at this because at this point I'm like, okay, yeah, man, I get it. You're just a crazy paranoid conspiracy theorist. I get it. Like, that's you. That's what you are. You're really trying to make people convinced that this is the thing. Sure, some people probably believe you. You're good. You're good so far. But then he keeps going further.
So one of the categories I talk about is interventions, where he's getting these random voicemails from this British lady named Aubrey.
Yeah.
Is it Aubrey or Audrey? I can't remember.
I think it's Audrey.
Audrey. Sorry.
Audrey.
So this goes back, the reason I brought up the paranormal investigating is because he records an EVP, an electronic voice phenomenon, and slowed down to 18%. It's a British woman's voice saying something about starseed.
Yeah, they keep referring to him as starseed.
So this woman is, like, calling, and they only catch her in voicemails. And it's her saying, Starseed, we will reach you soon. You are not safe in Colorado, Starseed. We will contact you soon.
You are special.
You are special.
It's like this, like, prophetic, like voicemail about how he's special and he's unique and shit. Which I got some fucking notes on that shit later. So
I'm excited, to dip into that. So they never catch they only catch it, like, a couple of times.
Yeah, he actually talks to her, like, once or twice.
Yeah, and she's, like, looking out for him and his wife, saying, like, look, you're not safe. You need to be more protected. You're not safe in Colorado.
And again, very nonchalant about all of this.
Yeah.
Like, if I got phone calls
he's just like,
about, like,
who is this?
Yeah, he's like, someone's playing a prank on me.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my God, dude. Like, if I was getting phone calls like that, I would be, one, the police would be called, and two, I would be far more alarmed.
Well, Ethan, you can't trust the police because...
You're right.
One day, Stan is riding his bike to work, and a van pulls up in front of him, and men in army fatigues get out and beat him up.
He's attacked by ninjas.
Yes, because later he's describing it, and he goes, this guy got out and did this kung fu move.
He did this stance, and I laughed at him at first, too. And he's like, I grew up in South Denver, so I know how to fight. Which, first of all, like, is South Denver, like, a really rough place to be?
Ask T.J. Miller, because that's where T.J. Miller was.
Yeah, he talks like it's like a really tough spot or whatever, and I'm just like, it's fucking Colorado, man. Like, it really isn't that probably hard, dude, but okay.
So basically, these Audrey calls are just her trying to protect Stan. And, like, the people in the van said, keep your mouth shut. And because he was going to the UFO community telling people about these experiences.
At this point, he was pretty well ingrained in, like, the UFO community. Because this is, like, a couple years after his, like, first, like, event or something.
Yeah, this is, like, maybe 2 or 3 years in.
Yeah, this is, like, 2003.
He's 2 or 3 years deep.
Yeah. He's, like, going to, like, meetups and shit like that and giving talks and all that.
But he's also, like... catching shadow people in his house and orbs and just...
Oh God, just the video evidence that he has is just, it's great.
We're getting ready to get to the coup de grace.
You ready to see me just like lose my mind?
So, I'm pointing to my notes right now. Do we talk about that? Or do we talk about that? Because they're both great. Let's go chronologically.
Let's do the Peeping Tom.
The Peeping Tom video.
The Peeping Tom, and
so they then another group of evidence is called encounters, which is Stan actually coming into contact and seeing aliens.
This is where he lost me. I was so ready.
I was ready to believe him too, man.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I think you're a crazy asshole and I'm a skeptic, but you at least seem like, you're committed to this and stuff.
Yeah.
Fine. Like, I get it. Like, it's whatever. Like,
yeah. This is absolutely where he lost me completely, because another thing that we haven't really touched on is, I'm sorry, I just brought up his Wikipedia page so that I can reference it later. And this guy, like, knowing what I know about him, it's like I look at him and say, of course.
Yeah, no, I just looked at him. Yeah, I looked at him. I was just like, yeah, that seems about right. He looks like the kind of guy that would do that.
Yeah. So, where were we? I totally lost track. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
The fact that he has two stepsons. I think?
He has two stepsons. Yeah,
two stepsons that are from his wife Lisa.
Yeah.
And so allegedly he keeps thinking that there's like a peeping Tom.
Yeah.
Like someone keeps looking into his windows.
I want to touch on this too about the way that the documentary is shot. Is that so? The way they do it, they lay out all the evidence and they show you. They show you pictures, voice recordings, videos. Then
it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Then you go into Stan talking about the experiences.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, he almost won me back again because of the conviction that he has in talking about it.
Because the whole time I'm watching, I'm just like, you are so full of it, dude.
So he's telling. Oh my God! I don't even. It's just, I don't even know where to begin with it, dude. So basically it's a video of the stereotypical alien that we think of.
A gray, yeah.
A gray.
Like massive almond eyes and stuff.
Peeking in his window, looking at him. Guys, do you remember when you would go to the fair when you were younger? And they had the inflatable aliens that you could win at the ball tossing tent. That's literally what this thing is. It's so utterly fake.
Because he's got the camera on his window and he's like, all right, I think there's a guy out here. This is a peeping Tom. I'm going to catch him today or whatever. He's like, all right, I'm going to bed. And then he like walks off and stuff. And then like an indiscriminate amount of time goes past. And you just see this like static head just boop, pop up. Look around, boop, back down.
No facial movement.
Nothing.
No blinking.
Static,
yeah.
Nothing. And it's like, it is so clearly a mannequin. This isn't the worst offender of this because he does this a couple times. But it's just like, it pops up and then it pops back down. It does it like 2 or 3 times. And then you see him run around and he comes back and he's just like, oh my God. He's like, what the frick is that? That is so crazy. What is that? And it's like, once again, I'm hamming it up. He's way more nonchalant and like chill about it than that. If I saw a fucking alien out my door, a gun would be the first thing I would go for. He's like so calm about it.
But here's what's funny about it is that now keep in mind the reason that I brought up that he documents everything is because this comes into play here because when he's talking about it later in the documentary, he tells his buddy, he's like, I'm thinking I'm getting a peeping Tom. I'm thinking that's what's happening. And the buddy says, well, you have a really nice Sony camera, don't you? Set it up. Now, why?
I like he had to specifically tell what exact make.
Why in the fuck would you have to tell the guy who's already documenting everything
to document? You just spit
I know, because
right
I'm just so angry.
I know. I feel you. I was so fucking angry about it. I like, that was the moment there where I was like,
he lost me. Totally lost me.
Fucking crazy. You are absolutely. This is all bullshit, and you know it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
This isn't just weird coincidences or like random dumb shit happening. You are fucking crazy.
Yeah. But he's got another video.
The Gray Grandpa?
The Gray Grandpa.
Where he gets up close to it. He gets like 2 feet away from it. And he's like, oh my God. What is that?
So
and it's like,
hang on.
Literally a cardboard cutout. It's
hold on. We have to talk about what it is exactly, because we have to explain it so that people can see. So he explains it as, so my stepson is having, and by the way, I want to know how old the stepson is. We'll get back to that later.
Yeah, no, because this gets fucking creepy.
Yeah. So he's talking about how his stepchildren are having a sleepover, and he thinks he sees a naked figure run down his hallway.
Yeah, and his logic is that he thinks it's his stepson, which, first of all, if you believe any of this bullshit, or you're even remotely like Stan Romanek, your first thought is not going to be, I think my son is running around naked. Your first thought is probably going to be, that's a shadow person, or that's a fucking alien. But no, he's like, I'm going to grab my camera and record my son, because it'll be funny to have blackmail against him.
That's literally what this guy says.
Which we'll get to. We'll get to it, because that logic is fucked.
He goes into the room where everyone is sleeping, and he wakes up one of the son's friends and goes, hey, did you hear or see anything? And he goes, yeah, I heard something. Rolls back over and goes to sleep.
Yeah.
So he goes into the kitchen with the camera.
He's also like narrating everything too.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, where is it? Where is it? Looking in. Like the kitchen has like a sliding glass door. Yeah, but I want to preface this by saying the first time I watched this doc, because this is the second time I've seen it, more angry the second time.
Yeah, no, because it's like now the
because
the
I honestly I forgot about so much.
Yeah,
because it's been a year since I'd seen it, but.
Yeah.
I thought that it was more of the alien was in the doorway of like the living room in the house, peeking around the corner. No, that would make it more ridiculous than what it actually is. It's just the alien is peeking peeking through the sliding glass door, looking at Stan, looking right at him.
Clearly this fake like rubber doll and stuff. You can, and like the way it like slides off of out of view is like you can almost hear like the like piston going.
Yeah. And what's funny is when he runs over to look at that area, totally pitch black, because
doesn't go outside,
doesn't
flip on a porch light, doesn't bother to like follow up with it. He goes, wow, that's really crazy. All right, I'm gonna go back to bed. Like, he's just so chill about it. And that was it. That was the moment where I was just furious. And
the peeping Tom video was my. And then,
the peeping Tom,
and then Gray Grandpa. I'm like, what the
Gray
fuck?
The Gray Grandpa. It was like the nails were all in, and Gray Grandpa was just the final the final nail. Like that.
So then after this is when he starts to get the Audrey calls.
Yeah,
is when those start to come through. Do we? Because, okay, let's just go. So he has photographic evidence.
Oh, right.
Where
he starts talking about how, like, photographs and stuff start showing up on his digital camera.
On his digital camera.
These shitty up-close shots of, like they're like Snapchat photos of these gray aliens and stuff. Like, they're about to go out on the night in the town and stuff.
Yeah,
and, it's just,
and they're awful.
They're so shitty and all.
So let's get into the, oh, not even that. But, like, they say in the documentary, they say, oh, you never know when they're going to pop up. And then there will be, like, group photos of them at a barbecue. And they're just posing. And then they saturate the photo. And you just see this shitty alien just, like, just standing in the background.
My favorite one was the family barbecue. And there's, like, a hole in the fence. You just see this, like, alien face just like... I think I want to be a part of that.
This is why I wish that this was a video podcast, so that we could put them up on screen right now.
Oh God, it's
holy
so good.
Shit, are they?
It's so good. I'm almost like you should edit them in like for the YouTube version
because
holy shit,
the YouTube version, you guys are in luck. You will see these photos. They'll be on
Holy
screen
shit.
right now, and you'll be able to look at them.
There's something to behold, and he's one of the worst photoshoppers in the world because he has several photos that come up later.
We're getting into those now.
Oh boy.
Let's talk about the children.
Oh yeah, the plot thickens with this one. This is where the
real quick
the lore
before
is.
we get it. Did you write down the child's name because I forgot to?
It is like Kioroma or something.
It's like
Kioma.
Kioma is what it
Kioma.
is. Kioma.
Yeah.
Kioma.
So, which is like the only one that they ever talk to, but allegedly there's like 7 or something like that.
Yeah, we're getting into that.
Yeah.
So, boy. So we mentioned the Audrey phone calls. He gets other phone calls from a little girl.
Yeah.
Named Kioma.
And it's like really quiet and stuff. They're like, it's like he's talking to his wife, and apparently like they're just like talking, and like you can hear it really back in the distance or whatever, and she's like, I'm fine, Daddy.
Yeah. Like I'm not sure if the mic picked that up, but it's like just simple like, hi Daddy, it's me, Kioma. Like stuff like that, and then he's like, little girl, are you there? And he's like,
it's so dramatic.
Oh, fuck. What phone call is it where he passes out?
Oh, the one where he's talking about hearing the noise and
yes,
stuff. And
there's one of the phone calls where I know we're jumping around a little bit, but guys, it's just, there's
a lot to take in with this.
There's a lot to take in, even though you know that you gotta watch it yourself.
It's just, at this point, it's just like, it's really about like the dedication of it all. Like I'm so immensely impressed.
After the Peeping Tom video is when for me, it flipped, and the Peeping Tom pops up like maybe 25 minutes into the doc.
We're in pretty deep at this point because it's like, because like at that point it's like it was fairly standard UFO stuff.
It's like, oh, this guy's just seeing UFOs.
But now it's like I'm not so much mad that he's just like full of shit. I knew he was full of shit. It's just now I'm just impressed at his dedication.
His level of commitment.
Like he literally does not break kayfabe ever. Like, he sticks with it. It's amazing.
What would drive a man to want to be this committed to the bit, Ethan?
Well,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, would you believe it's some illicit activity?
It may be,
or 2 or 3 possibly.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to those.
I know we're doing a lot of teasing in this one.
I was gonna say we keep saying we'll get to that
because
I think it's time for us just to get to it.
It's time to just get to it.
I think it's time to get to it.
So he's having encounters with these children. They're calling him. He's having photographs of them, which you brought up his Photoshop skills. He Photoshops poorly because you can clearly tell that the source photo for this girl is from another like style of camera.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't like blend it very well.
Yeah. It's like normally she should be like blurrier and stuff.
You're the artist. Explain what he did wrong here.
So it's like cameras just like they take different fidelity of photos and stuff, and it's clearly he just took either another picture from another camera or more likely he just took one off the internet and just like photoshopped it, and he didn't bother like blur edges and stuff like that. It's like the grain quality just does not match like at all in the slightest. And it's just like honestly the one about the girl underneath the barbecue,
that's the one
if you look close enough you can see her face is overlapping one of the bars on the fence there, and it's just like come on man, and you zoom in on it so we can see it.
And every bit of evidence that they do an invert, they do a negative, and they do like an emboss of it to just prove that it's like these aren't layers that are edited on.
Yeah, like look, it's moving and stuff. You know, dumb people don't know how to like export footage and shit like that. Whatever. Yeah. There's that other one too that's my personal favorite. It's the girl sitting no more than like 2 chairs away from him at some event, and he's like photoshopped her eyebrows down to like a YouTube thumbnail, like he liquefied her eyebrows. So
he is at a UFO convention. And before this, he gets a call from Kioma saying, I'll see you soon, Daddy. And then he says he's at his booth at his convention, and a little girl runs up, hands him some flowers, and then runs away.
Which is just code for he paid someone to do this.
Probably.
Is what I got from
well,
Also, ooh. I'm sure people have figured it out, but like
if you haven't figured it out yet.
but we'll get to it because I think it's a nice little bow on the whole the whole story of Stan Romanek.
We're gonna have to rock paper scissors to see who it is that says the reveal, because the reveal is just fucking crazy. So, he takes a picture of this girl watching his panel or whatever, and you can tell that he just clearly took it into Photoshop, did the smudge effect on her glasses or on her eyes to make her eyes look elongated and almond shaped.
Yeah, and then like liquefied her eyebrows down to. She almost looks like the Grinch.
In a way,
if you'd painted her green, she would look like the Grinch. Like
now, hopefully these photos are online for me to put in the YouTube video, so I'll show all these photos that we're talking about. That thought never even crossed my mind until you brought it up. So thank him for that.
Yeah. There's something to behold.
Yeah. But then there's the one photo that was magically erased. Do you remember this one?
I remember him talking about a photo that just magically disappeared one day, but I don't remember what.
So
the contents of it were.
When they're all together, or no, I don't know why I said when they're all together, but the part of the documentary where it's him going over it and like more in depth explaining it, they're interviewing friends and stuff, and one of his friends, who is also a UFO crackpot.
Oh, is this the guy who's like missing his teeth and shit?
I think so.
He looks like a crackpot. Like,
okay, I just quick little side note here. There's a difference between believing UFOs and being a UFO crackpot. Yeah. These people are UFO crackpots.
Yeah.
They're the tinfoil hat guys.
There are people who are like really dedicated to like this idea.
They commit to the bit.
And I think that's fine. Like I think that's totally okay. But these are like, when you start dipping into like the government conspiracy and stuff like that, and like the like,
there's one documentary that I want to cover later that I might have you back on for, that's called Unacknowledged, and like this guy is big into it. But anyway, that's for a later date. So sorry, quick drink of water. He is talking about, he's like, oh, we learned very early on that if you're going to be around Stan Romanek, you need to be with him 24/7 because something crazy is going to happen. I had another thought about why you need to be around Stan Romanek 24/7.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, particularly like away from schools and
guys,
stuff like
we
that.
are getting to the good shit now. So basically they say that they're at like a party, and at the end of his driveway he sees this little girl with almond shaped eyes, and he snaps a quick photo of her, and he's showing everyone on the viewfinder of the photo.
Yeah, he's like, look at this girl.
And then as he's running to his computer to get it on his computer, the photo goes away.
Yeah.
So
wait, is that the same photo he shows to everyone and they all like start crying and shit?
Yeah. I forgot about that aspect.
Like the crackpot dude who's missing his teeth and stuff is like, he's like, would you show?
Oh, it's just so captivating.
It was so captivating, and we all just start crying. It was such an emotional, like visceral moment and stuff. And it's like, all right, Roger Ebert, take it easy there.
So, oh boy.
Now there was a person at this party.
There was someone at this party
that is very, very essential to the story of Stan Romanek.
And so speaking of that person, you're probably asking yourself, where do these children come from in the mythos of Stan Romanek?
The legend.
Well, the legend of Stanley Romanek.
I was gonna say this reads almost like a very good like science fiction like novel. Like I would read a book like this if they committed to it.
So I want to take you back to September 21st, 2001. Stan Romanek is asleep at 2 a.m. There is a knock on his door, and he's a heavy sleeper. He proclaims himself as a heavy sleeper. And he says they must have been knocking for a little bit because he finally woke up. He is walking to his foyer to open the door, and his sister has already opened the door. And he's about to tell her, whoa, don't open the door. That could be someone robbing us.
Yeah, they're going to rob us. They're going to rob us. Because that's what robbers do. They knock whenever they come to rob.
But he noticed something a little off about his sister. Ethan, do you want to tell everyone what his sister was doing?
Apparently she was like craned back with like her mouth open, just like her head was craned back, and she's like a turkey trying to catch rain in its mouth and stuff. like just like just like in a complete trance or whatever, which is just the worst possible way you can be found for a UFOologist to catch you in.
What was on the other side of the door, Ethan?
There were 3 people, air quotes people,
quote unquote. You can't hear the air quotes.
Two males and one of them a female, and the artist renditioning for them is
fucking hilarious,
ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
I think it's Stan drew them.
He's a shitty artist.
I think that whenever he went through the regressive therapy,
he drew them.
He drew them.
God damn, because like they sit on that drawing of them for like the whole explanation of them and stuff, and he's like, one of them was a female and the other 2 were males, and like he was like, I tried to speak, but I couldn't speak, and he's like, but then I felt like one of them reached out and like touched me. The female touched me, and like he was like, I had this thought. And he's like, but it wasn't my thought. It was said, you're fine, you're okay, we're not gonna hurt you. And then like, apparently, even though he couldn't speak, he like goes into like a blind rage and like grabs one of the males by like the throat, and he's
like trying to fight him off.
He's gonna throw it over the fucking like fence and shit. And it's just like,
this was his first abduction.
Yeah. And he's like, apparently, and then like one of like the female like touched the back of his head, and he's like, all of a sudden, man, I just felt weightless. I was just calm.
And I remember being on a slab in a room, and I remember. So he's saying this because he's going. They show clips of him doing the regression therapy, and again, this isn't his first abduction. He had many. He starts to remember another abduction, and he remembers being with a woman.
Yeah, he remembers he wasn't alone this go around.
A woman has been abducted with him. And he remembers standing by her and standing with her on the spaceship, I assume.
Yeah.
And they enter a door. And there are 7 little children. These are the children of Stan Romanek, one of them being Keoma. Yeah. Who goes to the convention and gives him the flowers.
Yeah, and like gives him like crank calls on his phone.
So basically, Stan Romanek, who is dyslexic, who is just an average student.
I was gonna say, I have notes here in my phone that I wrote in all caps because I was so mad watching it.
Yes.
He talks about being dyslexic and having learning disabilities and being put in classes for kids with special needs and shit.
He actually, this shocked me more than anything because in today's society, you just don't hear stuff like this. Stan Romanek goes, I was in the retard class. Yeah, and I'm like, whoa!
He very like, angry, just like, I was put in the class with the retards. He's like, I'm not a retard. Yeah,
and especially in 2018, you just don't hear people like, casually drop like, shit like that.
Man, but my note said something like, it was like, this guy talks about how like the aliens are like obsessed with our genetics and like breeding us and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're going to like, if aliens come to our planet and they are going to select one of us to like breed us and study our genes.
Why are they going to go after a dyslexic guy?
Why are they picking the kid with learning disabilities? Like, why the fuck would they pick him of all people? There are so many perfect human beings on this planet. Armie Hammer, he's right there. You could have picked him, but they didn't pick him. They picked Stan fucking Romanek.
I'm surprised Colorado. You went with him and not Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan's also perfect too. My God, like there's so many options, and they chose this shitty dad bod, crazy dyslexic motherfucker, and they were just like, perfect. He's the perfect one to breed for our alien race of people, almond-shaped eyed weirdos.
So the fact of this is basically they kidnapped him and this woman,
and they milked him.
They milked them.
It's so gross to describe it.
And they produced these children, 7 children,
7 kids, 7 kids.
So in 2008. You know, Keoma stuff has already been happening. Stuff about children stuff has already been happening.
It seems like stuff's kind of ramped down for him. Like,
yeah.
He's kind of in the downswing of his career, being a crazy asshat.
Stan is at a convention with his wife.
His lovely wife,
His
Lisa.
lovely, lovely wife, who...
Lovely, attractive wife, Lisa.
She's... We'll get...
Yeah. I was going to say, we'll find it.
He's at a convention with his wife, and she notices that he is fixated on this one woman, and he just can't take his eyes off of her.
He's got the look.
He's got the look. And he says to her, or she says to him, what are you looking at?
But all she can hear, all he's hearing is like the Lionel Richie. So he's like, ooh,
yeah.
What a feeling! It's like hearing the Beatles and shit for the first time.
So he starts talking to this woman. And this is the woman that he was on the UFO with. Now,
electricity.
Truly
a Romeo and Juliet story.
I don't want to speak ill of Lisa Romanek. She is not my type. She's not.
She's very average.
Very plain Jane.
Very plain in comparison to the woman
so
from
they
the
cut
spaceship.
Victoria is her name.
Victoria.
And the reveal of this woman, huge, just breasts, just really
very voluptuous,
just really pretty face. Yeah. She's an older woman, but you can tell that she's a cougar.
Yeah, I'm not. Neither of them are particularly my taste, but like in comparison,
in comparison, she is the more attractive one than the wife,
than Lisa. Yeah, and then it all starts making sense.
It all starts to make sense here. It all starts to just click.
There it is.
Right there.
That was a snap, but
yeah.
Thanos, take it easy.
Half of the audience just died.
Half the audience has already checked out.
Yeah, they're like, those fuckers keep saying they're going to get to it, but they're going to
get to the good stuff. They're almost an hour in. They're going to get to the good stuff at some point.
Guys, Stan is fucking cheating on his wife.
He is absolutely fucking this woman, Victoria. He's absolutely fucking this woman, Victoria, and he is.
And Lisa Romanek, bless her soul. Ethan's getting so hot and bothered right now. He's got to take off the hoodie.
I'm getting frustrated. The pants are going to come off.
Lisa Romanek, God bless her soul. She is the biggest fucking idiot I have ever seen in my entire life.
I feel bad for her because I'm sure that Stan has just gaslit the shit out of her with this sort of thing. Because he does it. Because he's like, oh yeah, I was spending time with Victoria and stuff. And obviously she was getting jealous. And I was like, no, there's really nothing. I'm sorry that I have like this connection with her and stuff.
They're talking to Lisa and she's talking about how...
This is one of the most frustrating scenes of the entire thing.
I wanted to reach through my television and slap her in the face and be like, what is wrong with you, woman?
It's so frustrating because you see the light bulb.
Yes.
I shit you not, as sure as Stan has seen UFOs, you could see a light bulb over the top of her flicker. And it's like, oh, she's gonna get it. She's about to get it.
But then
she's
she
just
doesn't.
like, it's aliens. It's like, fuck, Lisa, you were right there.
She's talking about how
right there.
She's talking about how they will all be together, and then Stan and Victoria will just disappear for hours, and they'll be gone. It's because they're reliving their moments, and she's talking about quote unquote they're reliving their bond of being on this spaceship.
Yeah.
And Lisa says, well, I give them the benefit of the doubt because they went through this traumatic event together and they're each other's
like
moral support.
Yeah,
they're the moral support because no one else understands what it was like to have been abducted. Victoria does. And then I start to get jealous because as the wife, husband,
you think certain things and stuff.
Yeah. And then you could see the light bulb starting to slowly it's a dimmer switch.
Yeah, it's just like it's barely
slowly
on.
Starting,
ramping up,
starting. And then the documentarian, which I apologize,
I can't remember his name.
The person that made this, Bravo. She stops and says, "So listen," stops her right there and says,
he stops the interview.
So let's just stop the interview right here. You believe everything that Stan tells you.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. He's my husband. I trust him. I'll back him and support him and everything. He has never lied once and never would lie.
She says, unless he lies, I will not support him. But I believe him 100%.
Yeah.
That's when you see the light bulb start to flicker. And then she's like, I would never lie for my husband. I would just never lie for my husband.
That's when the documentarian stops it and he's like, but you just said you wouldn't support him if he lied to you, but you believe him 100% and stuff. Like, are you sure about that? Like,
exactly.
Like that's the point where I was like, okay, these guys are on our side. Like, I was convinced that they were going to be very on Stan's side with this.
Yeah, guys,
oh my god,
is just so blatantly obvious So you mentioned the party with the photo and stuff, the photo that magically disappears. Victoria was at this party. So like Victoria has become like, she is ingrained
she's
in
just
the
another,
life.
She's just another member of the family now.
She's just another member of the family, you know? And
Aunt Victoria.
Aunt Vicky.
Aunt Vicky. What an ass.
Guys, Lisa Romanek is the biggest idiot.
She's a dummy. She's
not a smart woman.
Cause like it's just like she's just like we said like this entire time, it's like she's so close. She's so close to getting it, and it's like all of a sudden this is no longer a documentary about UFOs. This is about me rooting for Lisa to finally get it and to leave this dude.
Yeah.
Because clearly he's cheating on her, and he's using UFOs and shit to cover his illicit activities and stuff. And note that I say activities, not just activity with Victoria.
So, do we want to even get into that? There are people that back him up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There are people that back his claim up.
He has a network of support.
Before we get into that, I just want to say real quick, it pops up on screen. This next section is going to be called "Is Stan Crazy?" You remember, it pops up on screen, white letters on a black background. It says, "Is Stan crazy?"
Yeah.
I literally yelled at my TV, "Yes!
Yes, he is.
He is crazy!"
Well, he's either crazy or he's very good.
Or he's the best Carney.
He's very good. Like, it just gives...
So,
well, okay, no. He's very good at convincing his wife that he's not fucking Vicky. But everyone else knows he's full of it. So,
yeah.
It's like he's a good liar in the sense that he's good at lying to one person.
Yeah. So, boy.
Are we finally getting into the good stuff here?
In just a second.
I was gonna say we're getting to the point that it's probably gonna be.
They talk to. I could talk for 3 hours about this fucking guy.
Yeah.
This is probably gonna be the longest one because we're easily gonna go another half hour. On this. They're talking to a psychiatrist. And this psychiatrist is talking about how he did some kind of test with Stan in order to, like, monitor his mental capacity.
Is this the really old guy?
The really old, crazy fucking dude with the crazy hair and the white beard?
The Doc Brown looking dude?
Yeah, fucking... Marty. It's fucking Rick Sanchez is who he's talking to.
He's like Rick Sanchez with a beard. Like he's fucking insane.
And he was a pickle for some reason. I don't know why. But he says that he took this test and Stan was like adamant about what's the results of the test. Tell me, am I crazy? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Am I normal? Am I normal? And the doctor's like, well, I mean, I gotta monitor the test first, dude.
Yeah, I can't just tell you immediately.
And what was so funny about it...
And also, I have to make sure you check clears before I give you the answer.
Yeah, exactly. And he... not to throw accusations this way, but I feel like this doctor might have had something to do with Stan's other pastime.
Yeah.
Did you get that vibe, too?
A little bit. He kind of has that feel.
The best part about it is that the test showed that Stan is under a high level of stress. And I thought, no fucking shit.
Yeah, no shit.
He's cheating on his wife, God forbid the government looks at his fucking hard drive.
Yeah. Oh,
let's get into it.
Yeah, are we ready?
We're ready to.
Because
I'm bringing up the Wikipedia page right now. So, we have beat around the bush about it, and we've become more and more blatant.
We're going beyond the documentary.
We are now officially entered OT, where
we're in modern day time now because the documentary wraps up basically with like a 10-minute session with all the doctors talking about how special and interesting they think he is and how he's someone we should all be listening to and shit.
So then after that sizzle reel, Ethan, do you want to tell everyone what pops up on screen? Or do you want me to?
Oh, you mean the fact that in August of 2017 he was indicted?
No, you're getting a little bit ahead of yourself.
Oh, are we talking about in 2015?
2014.
2014 when he was... Okay, I was getting ahead of myself. So we want to talk about the him admitting that he made all of it up.
Yeah, so before we get into that, the one thing, he basically came out and admitted that he faked a video.
Yeah. In like 2014. Yeah.
It was like 2014 or something that he did that. He admitted the video was fake, but then he reneged on it and said, "No, the government told me to say that it was fake."
He was like, I had to get rid of it because the government was threatening me.
Okay, that's fair. February 13th, 2014, he was arrested for child porn. I'm just going to come out and say it.
The guy's a pedophile! He's a fucking pedophile!
He was taken to jail, charges of possessing and distributing child pornography. And it was the outcome of an 8-month investigation by Homeland Security. More than 300 images as well as video files depicting child pornography were found on Romanek's computers. Now, they mention this comes up right after. They don't talk about the faking in the documentary, but right after
it stops at 2013.
After the sizzle reel of all these people saying that he's great, it's great, it pops up on screen that he was charged with possession of child pornography. He is claiming that he is being staged and set up.
He's being framed.
It's
a government conspiracy.
Ethan, do you want to tell them about the information that pops up on screen now, citing all these different sources?
Oh, God, I don't remember, actually.
Talking about all these different sources, like different headlines from all these different websites, that the government is working on viruses that will install child pornography on your computer to stage them. Now, you always hear, cite your sources. If Infowars.com is one of your sources, just fucking throw it out the window right now.
It's probably all bullshit, is what it is. You're probably just buying supplements, is what's gonna do.
Yeah, you're just buying supplements. You're gonna feel better. You're gonna look better.
You want to look great like me.
You're gonna look great like Alex Jones. Admit that Obama was having sex with 10 guys a day. Did you know about that one?
Yeah,
that's the one that got him in all the trouble.
God damn it.
Stan Romanek was having sex with 10 kids. Okay, that one was bad.
Oh, man, that's bad.
But Stan Romanek he's coming out and saying, I'm being framed. I am being framed.
The government is doing it to silence me. I've become too much of a figure in this.
Absolutely. So then they pop up on screen all these different headlines. 25 different headlines talking about how Stan Romanek, or not about Stan Romanek, but how there's this program that will put child porn on the computer to frame people. And then the documentary ends with saying, in the United States, you are innocent until proven guilty. Stan, right now, has not been proven guilty, blah, 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 blah. They're basically backing up. And you know what?
300 pictures on his computer is pretty damning evidence.
Hold up. I got to agree with him there.
Yes, I know. I agree.
You're innocent until you're proven guilty.
Innocent until proven guilty. I agree.
Well,
Boy, it really seems like the evidence is stacked against him, though.
Yeah. That's fair. End of documentary.
Mm-hmm.
It leaves you on, maybe he is being framed.
What a complete tonal shift, too.
How does that? It just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, like that's the thing. Like for being something that starts out as a UFO documentary, then it turns into a story about how a dude is covering up for cheating on his wife.
Basically,
and then it ends with him being a fucking pedophile. Like it's just what a
but
roller
see,
coaster.
What's brilliant about this documentary is that the way that it's laid out is how you just slowly see it unravel before your eyes.
I know it's
bravo filmmakers.
It's such a saga. Like I was thoroughly enthralled through the whole thing. Yes. I was just like, good fucking Lord, man. Like it just like they really frame it as a UFO documentary, but then it just devolves.
So do you want to go into more current day stuff? So keep in mind, as we said, the documentary came out in 2013,
2014, somewhere
13, 14, whatever.
Yeah. Because so in 2015, he admitted to faking things, and then he said it was a government conspiracy.
Yes.
And naturally, later he was also caught for child pornography.
For kiddie porn.
I don't remember what specifically happened with that. I do know that in August of last year, 2017, he was caught again with child pornography.
No, he wasn't caught, but he was found guilty on the original charges.
Okay, so that was it. That was the trial.
So that's why it's funny that the documentary ends with innocent until proven guilty. Well, guess what?
Spoiler, he's guilty.
He's guilty.
He's fucking guilty.
He was guilty of it.
The dude likes kids, and he
that's why we talk about that. It's so weird.
Yeah, it just
when it brings up the children's stuff, and it's
changes the context of everything, especially the like blackmailing his like
the blackmailing. It's
stuff.
like that's why I brought up how old are his stuff. Like I'm not saying because it doesn't go into that. Did he actually took part in illicit activities with minors? But he's got photos and videos of it. Maybe it's him in the videos. Maybe it isn't.
Yeah.
Who am I to say that maybe he raped his stepson or something?
Still,
I don't know.
Like there is that like potential definitely, but it's just like
I'm not going to say that it. I'm going to speak.
We don't want to like. Listen, he's already a sex offender.
He's already a sex offender. That's
we've
fine.
clearly established he's a pedophile.
Yes.
He's the worst possible human being.
When you start talking about how he wants to blackmail his son, and he's got all these pictures of these children that are his that he had with this woman.
Yeah, and then it's like little girls coming up to him and giving him roses and shit like that. It's just, god damn, that information totally recontextualizes this entire documentary. It's amazing. And then going back and watching it again, it's just like, man, dude, what a piece of shit to like, but also it's just like he just takes advantage of the situation. He like uses UFOologists and like crazy ass conspiracy theorists to cover up the fact that he is a pedophile and that he is fucking this other woman. So possibly, I don't even know.
I'm gonna read from the Wikipedia page now. On August 8th, 2017, Romanek was found guilty of felony possession of child pornography, but not guilty of the distribution. 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
Yeah,
I mean, regardless, you had it.
Takes 3 strikes to get you out, so he's only sitting at 2. So
he officially started his sentencing in December 14th, or on December 14th of 2017. He was sentenced to serve 2 years at a halfway house, and he is now a registered sex offender. He reported immediately to jail, and basically they had to wait for space to become available. That's why he's in the halfway house. As a sex offender, he is subject to 10 years of intensive supervised probation, not allowed to use computers or electronic devices, unmonitored, and is not allowed contact with children under the age of 18 without approval from the Community Corrections Program. Ethan.
It's a conspiracy. The government is trying to bring him down. They are trying to silence Stan Romanek. Stan Romanek is innocent!
Ethan, where's his wife in all this?
She is lawfully, like a dog, by his side, defending him the entire fucking time. And she is like, she even, in that Wikipedia article, she even mentions that they're going to bring in the UFOologist shit into his defense.
But did they, Ethan, did they bring the UFO stuff into his defense for the court case?
If I recall, they tried, and the judge was just like, no.
Exactly.
Absolutely not. Like, absolutely
because
not.
They saw that it held no merit, basically.
Yeah, naturally. Go figure.
Excuse me. On September 12, 2017, Lisa Romanek created a 90-day fundraiser campaign with the goal of $30,000 for her husband's appeal. The goal amount was subsequently lowered to $15,000. Now, by the end of the campaign, how much do you think that you know because you looked at it?
It was only like a miserly
$3,300
over a little over $3,000. Don't support pedophiles.
It was not extended. It was not extended. It was not extended past that. It was just like, well, we didn't.
Well, they wouldn't give us the $90,000. What about $15,000? Oh, we only got a fifth of that. Jesus.
According to Romanek's attorney, they plan on an appeal of the conviction.
Bullshit. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
At the sentencing hearing, the attorney Joshua Ritter, he accused Romanek of deception to try to place blame on others and doctoring evidence of fake videos alleging computer hacking. So this was a long con, basically.
Yeah, no, like that's the whole thing. That's how this recontextualizes. Like, he's clearly just taking advantage of something that will easily like Because sure, you can write off all the shitty things you do when you just say, oh, it was aliens. Oh, it was a government conspiracy.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fucking easy to do that. So
and ironically, probably in the UFO crackpot community, like his friends and stuff, they're like, yeah, he's innocent. Aliens did this to him. The government did this to him. No, dude. He's a kitty fiddler. Yeah. Well, I don't know if he is or not, because I don't know if he ever actually...
Look, if you just... Anything with kids, man, like,
I'm trying to make it funny, but like,
man, it's tough.
It's rough, man.
It's tough, dude.
It's rough.
This is really a scenario where it's like, dude, Stan, you really just should duck your head in traffic.
Let me just say, as I'm trying to make it fit, it's not funny that these poor children were taken advantage of with photos, video, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But where the humor to me comes out.
No, it's so ironic.
How ironic.
Yeah,
exactly. That's where the humor comes in it for me, because it's like, of course this guy's a pedophile.
It's ironic, and it's honestly just really, really sad, because he's just so convinced and so in it that he's like so convinced that, I'm being abducted by aliens. I'm not cheating on my wife. I'm not looking at
now, is he starting to believe his own bullshit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Is that what you think?
That's what I think. I think in order to make the lie stick, he had to believe the lie, and he believes it so hard to the point that he thinks it's real himself. He doesn't know if it's a lie or not anymore.
See,
he's convinced.
That's fair. You think that? I personally think that he's living the lie, knowing that it's a lie.
Possibly too, because on his Wikipedia article, it even says he's like an author, and he's wrote like 2 or 3 books.
Which I'd be curious to read his books.
Oh boy, that'd be funny. And I was put onto a spaceship and there were all these children, these sexy children. It just like totally changes it all. But it's like, part of me was thinking before I found out about the pedophilia stuff.
Did you know about it going into it?
No.
Okay.
Towards the end of it, I kept looking at his Wikipedia, and then I saw it. But like the thing that stuck to me was that initially he was like an author, and he wrote a couple books. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. He knows this is all bullshit. He's just taking advantage of stupid, impressionable people to make money, to sell books like any good con man would do. But then naturally, of course, the pedophilia charges come forward, and it's like, oh, never mind. Not only are you using it to exploit insanely dumb people that believe this bullshit, but you're also using it as a cover for like insanely awful, immoral things. Like
you're committing adultery, and you're committing
to
pedophilia.
It's possession of pedophilic materials. Like, it's just absolutely insane. And it's just like the saga of Stan Romanek is just his meteoric rise and fall,
and then kind of rise and then fall,
and then kind of rise again, and then just
a roller coaster of a ride.
A meteoric rise in terms of like as far as a conspiracy theorist can be.
I'm going real quick. I'm going to a text conversation that we had, because I'm trying to remember what you and I referred to it as. I said that the subtitle of this, instead of being the Stan Romanek story, it should have been the most elaborate "I'm not cheating on my wife" excuse ever.
Yeah.
And then you said extraordinary, or how I tried to convince an entire country that I was abducted to cover my illicit activities.
I think that's a much better title. I think that is just such a good title for it, because this is definitely an extraordinary story.
Yeah. Because it's just
a very shitty person.
But I'm telling you, like, the reveal of Victoria, I audibly laughed.
It's a comedy, dude. It's a straight up comedy. Like, there's no getting around it. Like,
I want to talk to the filmmakers though and be like, okay, come on.
What was the moment you realized he was full of it? Like,
yeah.
Was it the moment you were talking to Lisa and she almost gets it that he's fucking Victoria and stuff? And oh my god, I cannot believe it. Like, why is it that he's like known? Like, why is Romanek known?
Because, well, it's just because he, in the mythos of it, it's because he has had so many encounters. He's got great evidence, except for the peeping Tom and the and the great grandpa.
They even talk like, well, mainly it's like his close friends and stuff.
Yeah,
and people they paid to say this about it. Like, he's a very like charismatic individual and stuff, which I didn't get that in the slightest.
No, he's very simple. Yeah. Like, you can just tell by looking at him that he's not a stupid man.
Yeah,
but he looks clearly learned, but he's not like he's not there.
Clearly, The thing that I noticed a lot too, because he talks about being bullied a lot, and this seems to be a very common thing I see with like a lot of UFOologists and stuff, is that oftentimes they were people who were bullied as kids, and that their comfort was to look into like aliens and like these science fiction things, and it's just like this insane delusion of grandeur to like escape that sort of like awful experience you're having as a kid and like as a teenager and stuff. And like Stan is just one of those people that's just like, it's now become a delusion of reality.
Yeah.
Like it's a defense mechanism.
Well, he even said that until he saw that first UFO in 2000 that he wasn't a believer.
Yeah. But I think that's bullshit.
But then the wonder is he even a believer? Like, does he, we could talk another hour about whether or not he believes it or not, but we're going to start to wrap up here.
As I said, we're getting a little long in the tooth.
I have 2 questions for you. First one, did this documentary do anything for your belief in aliens?
If anything, it just made me think less of it all.
Okay.
Of it all. Because now I'm operating under the assumption that most UFOologists are just like totally ingrained in the idea of just like, oh, dude, I can do whatever shitty thing I want as long as I can explain it to aliens or the government. Then fuck it, I can do it. I can do anything.
Okay, so scale of 1 to 5 stars, 5 being the top. What would you rate this documentary?
First viewing.
Oh, did you watch it more than once?
I skimmed through it a second time just to rewatch sort of the beginning after figuring out the extra stuff.
Because it's a totally different stuff. So I'm sorry to cut you off, but the first time you watch it is different from the second time you watch it because you know everything.
Yeah, because it recontextualizes. Yeah. It's like so bad and stuff. So the first viewing of it, I would say probably about a 3 out of 5.
Because it's a little long.
It's very long. So they could have cut like an hour out of it, and it would have been just as fine. And like it was thoroughly entertaining. I was invested throughout the whole experience. Like I was just so not enamored. That's the wrong word. But like I was just very interested and invested in all of it. Like I just wanted to see where it went. Second time watching it, or like skimming through it to see it again, easily like a 4 out of 5, like getting up there in the higher ranks of it stuff, because it's just like now all of a sudden it's a case study on how this dude is trying to just absolutely con everyone.
I 100% I agree with your scores, because like I watched it about a year ago, and then it just was always in my head, and I knew when I started this podcast this was going to be one of the first ones I'm going to do, just because
you told me about it when you first watched it. Said, you gotta watch it, dude. This
I was like,
crazy.
And I believe I told you, I was like, don't research him, nothing, just watch it.
And I didn't know anything about him going into it. So I was very happy to have done that.
My one regret is I wish I would have watched it with you. That would have been the only thing.
Yeah, man. Well, if you'd watched it with me, you would have saw a lot of pausing, yelling, and like angry pacing back and forth. And then just after it gets past the evidence section, just laughing, just absolutely laughing. I was just having such a good time with it. I wish I'd watched it when I was drunk. It would have been so much better. It's
hell yeah,
it's great.
So, well, guys, that's gonna do it for episode number 3 of the Documented Podcast. Again, if you want to watch this documentary, it is available on Netflix. I believe that's the only streaming service it's available on, because they have the rights to it. Ethan, where can all of these wonderful people find you?
You can find me pretty much everywhere. You can find me on Twitter. I'm at eHolbert. I post doodles and I talk about video games, and occasionally I make jokes. That's about it. Other than that, I'm really not super active anywhere. I do have a YouTube where I post like speed drawings and stuff and all that good things, and I might have some things I'm cooking up to do.
Absolutely, I am privy to what this stuff is, and I'm very excited for it.
We'll see where it goes. So yeah,
I just want to say real quick, Ethan, thank you very much for joining me. If you guys need art, he's gonna get really like embarrassed right now, because I'm gonna like put him over right in front of him.
You're gonna plug me?
Listen, you got commission Ethan, because like his artwork is. He works in a very timely manner, reasonable prices. It's always top notch. The documented artwork, he did all that for me. He did the RocketGruntJosh artwork for me. He's done personal commissions for me, stuff like that. Ethan.
Send $20 to ethanholbert@gmail.com.
Yeah,
send that to my PayPal.
You're a great artist. More people need to commission you. I know that there's been some Twitch streamers have approached you, some YouTubers.
A couple Twitch streamers I'm doing stuff.
I talked about him at the top of the show. Grizz Juice Jared is using you, and I only hope from here that your art career skyrockets and goes on.
Well, my career as a ufologist is certainly not going to happen. So,
Mine is too.
So I guess I got to bank on something. So,
and of course, you can find me on Twitter at RocketGruntJosh, Instagram at RocketGramJosh. If you're listening to it on SoundCloud, then go ahead and leave a comment, all that. YouTube, subscribe, comment, everything, all of the shilling. Guys, I'll see you next time. Ethan, you got to come back soon. We'll talk about another documentary, hopefully one that you don't lose your mind over.
One that's not about a pedophile.
One that's not about a pedophile.
Let's not do that one next time. So.
All right, so with that has been episode 3. Episode 4 is going to be a surprise, and I like to tease what the documentary is going to be, but this one, it's going to be a little surprise when you tune in. So, with that, I'll see everyone next time. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Love you.